It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Well, most of us are New Orleanians. We're certainly in a bar. We're at the fabulous Wayfare on Freret Street, which is not just a bar, it's also a restaurant where they serve handcrafted food and spirits with a whole new menu and a radically new happy hour that lasts for 3 hours every single day from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 in the evening, so you can be totally drunk by the time you order anything to eat.
And full. Well, bar menu's
well, yeah,
pretty
the
solid
bar
too.
menu is cheap as well for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's
Half
half
off.
price.
That's right.
I'm not quite sure why they do that. I guess it's there's tons of people in here, though. That might be what.
Well, that's
what
why
does
they do it.
Yeah, that's why they do it. It's a really great spot to come and hang out with us, or come and hang out by yourself if you'd like, anytime. And they have an awesome brunch on the weekends as well. Jake, is this your beer?
Well, thank you.
So,
You didn't forget about me.
very nice. So how can we forget about you? The fabulous Jake McGregor is here with us today, who's in a band called McGregor, I believe, which is
That's
not
right,
hard
yeah.
to understand where the name comes from.
Went with
Can
the
you do
last
it?
name.
Can you do a Scottish accent?
Not very well,
Well,
but
we don't mind if it's bad.
McGregor.
Wow. That's awesome. Have you been practicing that?
No, I haven't, but I have been learning about the UFC sport,
Oh,
and
yeah, right.
Connor McGregor is the star of UFC,
What does UFC stand for?
Ultimate Fighting
Oh my-
Corporation, I think.
Really?
Club.
So
really
you're
corporate
the-
sport.
Sam, you're the bass player in the band called McGregor, right?
Yes,
Sam?
I am.
Do you know anything about UFC?
No. They
So
fight in
you're
a
not-
cage, the octagon.
You're not. It's in an octagonal shaped cage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
an
they go.
interesting
Yep.
idea. Why
8
is that?
sides of
Andrew
pain.
Duhon's back here as well. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, man.
You watch a bit of UFC?
I've seen a few matches, yeah.
Okay, Rien Fertel's here as well. Yeah, were you watching UFC?
No, I don't like. I don't want to watch fighting in a cave or a cage or anything.
It's not a
Caves cool. Caves are all right.
Do you have a TV?
I do.
What channel is this on? This UFC? I've never seen it out.
I think you. It's a lot of pay-per-view.
I used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pay for it.
You
as
pay
well.
a lot.
$1 billion
Screw that.
industry.
Well, you know, to rent
Really?
the cave is a lot, you know.
Yeah, someone's got to cover
yeah.
the cave.
Yeah, they got to cover the cave.
And Sophie Lafayette is here, one of our listeners from around the world. Hey, Sophie, welcome to New Orleans.
Thank you very much.
Sophie normally listens to us on at home in Salaam Tanzania.
Yeah. By the podcast.
Right. So we met Sophie when she wrote to us and said, I'm a listener. And,
Nice.
And she loves New Orleans, right? And finally made it here after all these years.
Yeah.
Nice.
So how is it shaping up compared to your image of what you thought it was going to be like?
It's pretty close to what I thought it would be like.
I guess you saw the
So-
pictures, so, you know, it's
Yeah.
going to
I
look like that.
got a little bit prepared for it, yeah.
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 What made you fall in love with New Orleans from the beginning?
It's just kind of like something that's grown over time, whether it's the music or the food or
Which one was
random interactions with, I don't know, books. It's just something that's grown and then it's just
it? But how did it start? though?
snowballed.
mean,
I don't know, like
where'd the obsession begin?
Well, the obsession. I don't know at what point it kicked over to an obsession.
Because all of us are interested, and we all look at online, and we see stuff about other countries and other cities. And I mean, I saw stuff about Dar es Salaam when you told me you lived there, but I didn't think about moving there.
No. Well, I think the thing is there's so many different elements to the city that it's just got such a rich and diverse, there's so many things that seem to have come from here or people that come through here that kind of link everything together. And then the more you see that, the more you see the different links. So it just seems like a place. I mean, I also like places that aren't they're a little bit frayed around the edges as well.
Well
And
said.
This
I
is
think that would
kind of
qualify.
place.
So where did you start out? Where were you born?
In New Zealand, in
Like-
Auckland,
Okay, so you were born in Auckland, New Zealand,
Yep.
and then you moved to...
the UK, when I was 10.
Right, that was a bad move right there.
Well, yeah.
That's the wrong direction.
I mean, I've been back. I went back there in March and left.
You
and
still sound kind of British, actually.
Yeah, but then there's a few things I say that are like a New Zealand twinge. or
Right.
A few words.
Well,
There's
and then
people-
you moved from the UK to
Then- no.
Tanzania. No, not even.
No. Then I moved to Norway, and then I moved to
Norway.
Tanzania.
Nice.
That's a hell of a strange move from Norway to Tanzania. What were you doing in Norway?
I just knew people there, and I'd been there, and I had the chance to go. I was only there for 6 months, which
That's long enough, right?
yeah, I think so.
So
A couple of postcards. Yeah.
Yeah.
did you try sardines?
I did.
A lot of sardines.
Yeah, a lot of fish. A lot of fish, a lot of potatoes.
Pickled fish in the jars, right?
Yeah, the lutefisk.
Have you
which
been
is
there
like-
as well, Jake?
I have never been to Norway, but I've been to Sweden a couple of times, and
couple
they're
of times.
neighbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm check me on that.
Why have you been a couple of times to Sweden?
I met a Swedish girl in high
I
school.
knew it was going to be that. I don't even know why I asked that question.
And I went there to see her and her family a couple of times, and then it faded out. But still, a very much an admirer of the country.
Was she a bikini model or anything like that? Or
No,
lingerie
no.
model?
No, but she had
A
blonde
winter
hair.
coat model.
Winter coat. Sam. So you met her in high school, did you say?
Yeah.
What high school is this? Here.
No, I went to high school in Los Angeles.
Oh, you're from LA?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess Swedish people move to Los Angeles, maybe.
Yeah, well, she was visiting some of her family friends, and then I ended up being their tour guide for a couple of days. And at first, I didn't want to be the tour guide, and then I met her and very much wanted to be
Things
the
changed.
tour guide. Yeah, things
Where did you
changed.
take them to in LA? What was your favorite
we
spots?
Well, we got tacos all over the city, and then we went to Sunset Boulevard and Hollywood Boulevard, and it was love at first sight.
Really? So who were you escorting around? Her family as well as her?
Yeah, her dad, who was a Waldorf school teacher in Sacramento for the majority of his life. He was born in Germany and moved his whole family to Sweden and had the kids in Sweden.
Wow.
And
So that she actually didn't live in Sweden when you met her. Oh, she did.
She did.
Yeah.
But her dad
So-
was well acquainted with California.
So how did
and
you get the job
Sacramento.
of being the tour guide? Well, who was the mutual friend?
Oh, it was my mom. My mom was a student of her dad in the 3rd grade, so he's an older dad.
Yeah, I'd say so. He was your mom's teacher, and he could have also been your father-in-law. That would have been strange.
Yeah.
Well, how old is he? Like 90?
Well, I think Carl's like 76 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to meet
Yeah.
a girlfriend with her entire family.
Overseas relationship, long
Yeah,
distance.
long distance.
A lot of dropped Skype calls. Now Skype's a lot better, but at the time it was always hard to.
Yeah,
get
if
good
they'd got
connection back
Skype
and
working
forth.
better earlier, Microsoft, you might still be together.
Yeah. You should
Have you ever thought
go
about
after
that?
Skype.
What
Hey,
went?
Skype.
Yeah, you could sue Microsoft for that. So you're wearing a T-shirt that says Taco Joint as well. You love tacos or something?
Yeah, and I'm totally branded with the tacos. I have a Mexico hat that I'm actually not wearing today, but my taco shirt. I like going to Mexican food restaurants.
Where do you eat tacos here?
Where do I go here?
That's a great question.
Okay, man, pressure's on.
Yeah.
So Natalie, who sings with us, she's not here right now, but we had a practice the other day at the Fountain Blue rehearsal studios and went down Carrollton to La Reconcita, which is next to Taqueria Guerrero, in that little mid-city strip near Felipe's.
That's the bar next door to it.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
bar with the...
Well, Ryan knows a lot about food. He's a food writer and historian, right?
I know some about
Doctor,
food. I do.
Dr. Fertel to you, by the way.
Have you been there before?
I have.
Reconcita? It's
I
good,
like
huh?
I like going in the winter. They do this
Oh, wow.
this seafood soup. Maybe they sell it all year round, but I think it's very perfect in the winter. And they sell some fresh tortillas on the side, and you dip them in, and it's full of things. I don't even know where it comes from and what sea or what it is, but it's finny things,
Yeah.
octopusy things. Yeah,
This is at La Reconcita.
local.
Yeah.
But that's a bar, right? It's not a restaurant, actually.
Well, I don't
It's
know the
the
difference
bar-
between the restaurant and the bar. They're
Well, La
next-
Guerrero is the
Oh,
restaurant.
sure. Okay, so La
Then
Guerrera.
they're not connected, are they?
They're not connected, no.
So
Can you get food at the bar?
Yeah, you can get food, and I mean it's a bar first and foremost,
Right.
and it's a sports bar, and they have 3 different flat screen TVs, and they play all of the soccer games and everything. Have some really cool decor up on the walls.
they have UFC on?
No, unfortunately no, I didn't get
Other
to
than
see
that,
my
it's
guy.
pretty good, though. So you're talking about the same place, Ryan? Is that this place that
I
has
might
this
be thinking about the place next door.
La Guerrera?
Yeah, La
Yeah,
Guerrera.
they're very confusing. It's weird that they'd
That's
be...
my joint.
That's
Is
where
that
you
your
go?
joint?
That's
Yeah.
my spot.
All right.
Yeah.
How often would you go there?
Oh, not enough, you know. Just trying to make ends meet. It's mostly white bread and bologna these days.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
When
I
you
don't know.
can
I do.
split-
I do
when you
love
go
that
out
spot.
there, you like to go to
I do
like-
love that spot, but I kind of want to know about another spot Anybody
Another
else got
Mexican
some
spot.
Mexican spots in town that they
Yeah, come on, Mr. Taco.
they highly regard?
Reconcita.
That's the one next
That's
door.
next
yeah.
door. What about somewhere else?
Don't-
I
mean,
think we have to leave town. We have to go to
chances are-
Jefferson
Yeah,
Parish.
you're right. You
Yeah.
got to leave.
Chances
Yeah.
are
Oh,
there's
really?
some family going on or something. The menus, there's something. There are threads, in between that are linked.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like you have to go elsewhere to try something new.
Well, Ryan, aren't you like a doctor of food?
I have a PhD. I'm not a, and I
And
eat,
you're a
and I
food-
eat food and I write about food. But yeah, I can't call myself
Diagnose
a doctor
this
of food.
food.
What's
What's wrong with it?
What's the PhD in?
in history.
The history of what?
I wrote my dissertation on, it was a history of literature in Louisiana, in New Orleans, Creole literature in New
Oh,
Orleans.
okay, so that's not. But you write mostly about food.
I write mostly about food. I get paid to write about food mostly. I
What
write
do you-
about other things.
What
but
do you
food
like
is-
to write about? Food, obviously.
I like to write about anything.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, but food was an entree into writing. I come from a food family. It felt easy. Maybe I knew the right people to
Right.
beg and plead.
So
for-
now your family owned Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
yes.
So who in your family owned it?
my grandmother was Ruth.
Your grandmother was Ruth Fertel. She
Yeah.
is super
That's cool.
famous.
She was super famous. She felt mildly famous when she was around. She passed away in 2002, and she was great. But she was my grandmother.
Right.
To me, I remember as like the woman who she loved to read mystery novels all night long.
Did she really?
Yeah,
Huh.
It's called Ruth's
yeah.
Chris.
Yes.
What is that? What is it with
It's
a?
kind of a weird name.
So yeah, so she was a young woman when she bought a existing steakhouse on the corner of Ursulines and Broad Street in 1965. That restaurant was called Chris Steakhouse
Got
or
it.
Chris's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
And something happened in the 1980s. She wanted to open up another location down the street that eventually became the sole location. And she needed to change the name, but she didn't want to get rid of the Chris, so she called it Ruth's Chris.
Yeah.
Is that some sort of copyright?
It was there was some legal stuff going on, I believe, and also she kind of built her name on someone else's name who she didn't know. She just happened to purchase this
I love
restaurant.
that. This is great history. Like, I feel like you guys should put that on the door, you guys. I mean, I feel like I would love to see it on the door. I tell, like, the Gasa Gasa spot. I don't know if you guys check out that venue down the street,
Yeah.
but
So good they named it twice.
nobody knows what Gasa Gasa means. If they told me, and I forget. But if they put that on the door, it's interesting, you
forget.
know?
It's
I feel
Japanese
like
for
Gasa
something.
Gasa. What did they
But
tell
the
me
door
it
of
was?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse
I don't know.
now is it's a health clinic or something there.
the one I grew up in here.
Right,
I partly grew
which
up
is
in here.
ironic.
Now it's right now it helps people with heart disease and diabetes in the neighborhood, which is a great it's a beautiful thing.
I guess they got heart disease and diabetes from eating
Maybe
there, and now they can
from
go back to the clinic.
steakhouse, yeah.
Yeah. So where are they? But now, so they sold. Who sold the chain? Because it's not owned by your family anymore.
No,
right?
so before she passed away, she sold it to this like evil conglomerate in Chicago,
I see.
so, which was the right move. Like it was
You
the
didn't
right
want to
thing
take it
do.
over.
No, I mean I was a kid. I
yeah.
was in high school and then
The
college.
Death Star's got cash, man.
But it was
So,
it's a super Death Star type of corporation, and I hope they're not listening. But but they've kept things relatively the same. I eat there maybe once every 2 to 3 years. I mean, it's not a place I go. I stopped. I kind of stopped eating, or kind of desiring that
Meat?
sort of food. Meat,
Right.
yes.
That
Well,
whole,
all the
Or
other
vegetarian.
that whole steakhouse thing where like the plate's super hot, and they warn you like plate's
Sure.
super hot, but then you forget and you touch it. Why the plate? Why do you gotta have a plate that's so fucking hot? You know? I mean,
You know what it was? No, it was not. It had nothing to do with the food. It was someone figured out it was purely
Butter.
advertisement.
Oh,
and so
really?
one day they said, well, they were doing it anyway. So they were heating up these plates and they'd throw a big pat of butter on it, and that's
Yeah.
how they send it to the table. And then one day they said, we have to. This thing is like sizzling, and when people hear it in like the dining room. And I was a busboy when I was a kid, when I was 15 years old, for a few years, in the one in Lafayette where I grew up, and someone figured out that you can sell that sizzle. So in the 80s, they put a mic
Sizzler.
on a plate.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, you couldn't listen to Rush Limbaugh, of all things. He was like their big sponsor. And Rush Limbaugh, every like half hour, would like play that sizzle. And during Saints games, they would play that sizzle, and everyone would know, like, we need to go get a steak
Wow,
from the
that's
steakhouse.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you ever hear that on Rush's show? Anybody? You ever listen? Sophie, you ever listen to Rush Limbaugh
No,
on
I
your
do not.
travels around Norway?
No, I avoid that if at all possible.
Oh, it's very
I've
possible.
never gone out of my way to listen to that guy.
But that must have sold a lot of steaks. That's your steak-eating crowd, I guess, is the
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The conservative crowd is a steak-eating crowd. Yeah, it's
It's your fat white people.
exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So now the chain is all over the country.
Yeah, all over the world.
It's all around the world.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So was it all around the world? Did your grandmother do that? Did she set them up everywhere?
Yeah, well, it was
She must have been a hell of a
mediums.
businessman.
She was an amazing woman. She opened it as a single mom with 2 kids, and
What happened to her husband?
but
God, he must be kicking himself.
he
that
he was until he passed away. He was a weirdo. He was one of the great New Orleans eccentrics. He might actually be more interesting than her, which is nothing I'd say publicly. But
Thank God no
no,
one
but his
listens to
name
this stupid
my
show.
grandfather's name was Rodney, and he was one of these great weirdos in town. He ran 4 times for mayor of New Orleans
Wow.
under a single platform.
Which was?
And this was through the 70s and 80s.
This might work.
Single platform
Yeah.
to get a gorilla in the Audubon Zoo.
Oh.
And so if you go to the Audubon Zoo today, there's a plaque in his name for the 2 gorillas. He eventually raised enough money, and he said if I garner 100 votes or whatever, and he raised enough money, he bought 2 gorillas from Thailand for this thing.
Shit.
And then
What was
somebody
his
shot them.
name? No, they're still there, I bet.
No, they passed.
What's his name?
His name was Rodney Fertel.
Rodney Fertel. I'm going to write that down because...
All right, wait. So my question is, I feel like a steakhouse, you got your red meat. You hope that you have high-quality red meat, and you put it on a grill. But, and then you got your sides, your au gratin and whatnots.
Yeah.
You
What
got your
makes-
knife and fork, don't forget that.
Yeah. What
Oh,
makes
a
you
napkin.
napkins, holiday sauce,
Yeah,
et
garlic
cetera.
bread,
But
that
what
comes
what
with it.
makes Ruth's Chris thing so important? Why do you need to globalize this steakhouse?
I mean, how did it get to be so big?
How to get
Yeah.
to be so big?
What made the Death
well,
Star
part of it
thing?
was
What's
part
the
of
sizzle?
this was the sizzle, this marketing. I mean, they sold prime beef, which was better beef than a lot of other places were selling. And also, it was a name. Once something it gets so big, it has the the potential to explode, and that's
Right,
what
right.
happened around the time. I believe. I mean, I stopped paying attention at some point. Once she sold the business, and now it's in Dubai and Hong Kong.
And the
all over
name
the
is
world.
such a mystery in itself. That
And the name
draws.
is interesting.
Yeah.
So who got all the money? Did you manage to get something?
Not
None.
me. No.
You're from the Lafayette branch of the family. So who inherited
Christmas
who
parties
got all
are the
the
shit,
cash?
So she has 2 sons.
So they got all the money.
Yeah.
So they must be.
Well, no. There was also
Hey.
when she sold it, it was a corporation with a lot of people who
That's
had
not-
had their hands in the pot
Okay.
for a long time, who had helped her. I mean, she.
But it's not a publicly traded company.
No,
though,
well, it is now.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. But when she sold it, she owned it with some other people, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and there were
investors
a lot of
shareholders.
franchises. I mean, she owned, if there were, I don't know, 60 when she passed away. Let's say I don't know how many there were. The corporation that she was,
Right.
maybe owned a third of those, a fifth of those. I don't know the exact numbers.
Well, it
I was
sure
a
is
kid.
interesting. It would be good to know how to make something simple so popular, because we could,
Right, that is
totally
amazing.
do it with a taco.
Well, we all try, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we all, but no one actually pulls it off hardly. That's why she's famous.
Yeah, I find
What
it.
about a taco? What could we do with a taco, Jake?
To make it famous.
Yeah,
and
how
make
could
it
we make a huge
widely
amount of money out of a
distributed.
taco? You know a lot about tacos, right?
Well, the new thing with these tacos, and I don't know
These
if you've all been to like Austin or places where they have the breakfast taco. Then they have other places where you can get a gourmet taco with things in it that anyone who was around when the taco was invented would be completely foreign to.
I'm going to show you guys something right now.
But it's pretty
Yeah.
wild what you can do now. Dessert tacos. I mean, look at Taco Bell. Like they have the breakfast cinnamon taco.
Okay, I just took a photo of this today at Whole Foods this morning, actually. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, but it certainly is appropriate. Look at that.
Sushi
burrito. Sushi
Sushi
burritos.
burrito, okay.
I took a photo of that because it's so insane.
is it a
what sounds-
sushi burrito bar? You make your own?
It's at Whole Foods.
That's
No,
at
this
Whole
is on the
Foods?
deli counter.
What sounds kind of like that hand roll that you'll get?
It's a hand roll.
Like a
It's the same thing.
cornucopia.
Well, I'm going to blow it up and see if I can read it.
That's going too far.
I took it $10.99, tuna and rice with carrots, avocado, cucumber, cabbage, spicy mayo, and nori komi spices.
I'm not against this. I'm not.
What exactly is that, Ryan?
So it's like the
Please tell us.
filling in sushi then, with just in a burrito.
Yeah, yeah.
Just sushi
And
filling.
And you're
And
taking
what?
huge bites. I thought the whole point of sushi is you have
Yeah.
these like delicate little bites, and you it's a whole process. But that's just like straight up. That's in Louisiana.
That's just the sickest
I mean,
thing.
when you watch,
Power
when you go to a
food.
sushi restaurant and they make the sushi roll, I think it's just before they cut it up, it looks like a burrito, right?
Oh yeah.
But is this
This is
a
true.
why wouldn't they just call it a roll? If it's a burrito, maybe it's in a tortilla.
And they wrap it up.
Because as you're commuting in your Camry, you need the tortilla to keep the rice
just a
from
damn
falling beneath
burrito.
your
I
seat.
guess so. Hey, so listen, anyway, I'd love to tell you guys also something about Jake McGregor. But you're the most enigmatic person who's ever been on the show. This is the bio they sent me about you.
Yeah.
First of all, there it is, right here. Right there. That's a blank piece of paper. And this says Sam Ferguson bass. This is what I get. Nothing. And I looked online myself. There's not one single thing
I did
about
write
you
something.
on the
yeah, there's nothing
where
on the
is it?
internet.
Who did you ask about bios?
Christian.
I wrote
Christian
Christian a long, like very scattered bio, which I'm kind of happy you didn't receive. Now
He
that
didn't
I'm
even
thinking-
send it to you. So you sent it to him.
Yeah,
But you had to write it, though.
I had to write it. Yeah,
So there's nothing about you on the World Wide Web, even though you're
yeah.
an awesome musician.
we're trying to maintain this really cool underground vibe with
Yeah,
our
well,
music. where we're
congratulations.
Impossible to
completely-
Google.
Yeah.
That's the best way to sell
Nice.
albums.
I was surprised how good you. I'd never heard of you until Christian said we're going to have this guy on the show and sent me the music. It's really fucking awesome.
Well, thanks.
I'm like, who is this guy? So I look him up. There's nothing about you. Nothing on the internet. Nothing. Not one thing. There's more stuff about Sophie Lafayette on there.
Can't repeat a first impression, dude. You got to wait to put the right foot forward, I guess, man.
Yeah, and right now we are competing with Connor McGregor, the UFC guy. If you search anything McGregor, it's all about Connor, and there's
Could
no.
you get in with him?
I've thought about it. I don't really know how to.
We could be his like
broach
pump
that
up
one.
song as he walks into the octagon.
Yeah, you
You
could
could
be
have
his
one of our
walk-on
happy
song.
Americana
Yeah.
tunes.
Yeah,
Have you,
Get the blood pumping.
I
how,
like to.
how famous is he? Is he pretty? He's really
Very
famous.
I mean, he gets like 80,000 likes on a Facebook photo, so
Yeah, I mean,
What is he?
pretty famous.
What does he look like? Does he look like he eats a lot of sushi burritos?
Just a
He is
hipster
fit.
that's going to eat your heart
He's like-
on a plate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's a kicker. He's a
terrifying.
Scottish fighter.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
He's
is
got-
this the guy who pops up on my Facebook and it says, like, you won't believe how many steroids Connor McGregor did?
I know. I think that's what's his name? Brock Lesnar. That guy.
Okay, I don't know.
I know
So
too much
very
about this
blonde.
stuff.
Here's what's interesting about Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like the guy that you would imagine you would find at the Irish pub in the 50s or 60s who just like does the fighting Irish thing. And like you know, the guy across from him looks a little more svelte, but he just kind of like gracefully, like his feet are feathers, and then he just one little swing and the guy is out across from him. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, man. The guy is amazing. He's
his
an
whole,
artist.
His whole fighting strategy is just come out of the gates,
What's the
swinging
line?
basically,
I
and,
want-
and the confidence and like what he does on social media is just over the top. As far as like criticizing his opponents before matches,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to kind of like fist bump before a match.
Oh,
He'll
right.
he'll just flip you right off.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sit
he's
back
so
and come
Irish.
right-
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like-
but he's Scottish actually, right? Or is he Irish?
He's Irish.
Irish, yeah.
He's Irish.
Yeah.
He says after matches, or his line that I thought was nice was, I'm gonna get this wrong. Let's see. He said, timing beats, or he said, what did he say? Timing beats speed, and do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but
Oh,
this
it was
is
so good.
interesting.
Yeah, it's two little deals. Timing beats
sure we could-
quickness, and
we could probably
we can look
Google
this
it.
up. Precision beats strength, something like that. you
Yeah,
know?
and he
basically
has
he
to,
just
'cause
knows
he's a little
exactly where
guy.
on your cheek to hit you to knock you right the fuck
He
out.
also
It's
lost
amazing.
really gracefully recently.
He did. He
And
did.
it
He
was
lost.
amazing,
He lost his first
post-match.
match very recently, and you know, in my opinion, he was doing exactly what he does. You know, just kind of methodically hitting this guy in the right spot.
And this is fighting with no gloves and no
No,
pads and
you
anything.
get a little bit of a glove. Yeah, it's not bare
barely
knuckles,
anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when it goes to the ground, you're using your knees on people's faces. So it's straight up street fighting.
Yeah,
This is
it's
such
very
a
primal.
Octagon.
This is such a good example
Yeah.
of our marketing strategy, which is horribly counterproductive because every time our name comes up, it devolves into a discussion of Connor McGregor, his various merits, and why he's such a badass.
Yeah.
Well, so seeing
right.
that nobody knows you from a hole in the ground, why don't you change the band's name to something else?
Like
We
Kanye.
We have
or
so many
something,
ideas.
right?
That's
Like
just
Kanye,
so bad.
good idea.
Well, maybe we will, and if there's a time to do it, it's probably in the infancy stage where we are right now.
What about taco?
Taco joint.
Oh, come
Taco
on, man.
joint.
Taco
Gotta get
boy.
better than that.
Well, we could do better than that, but that was just the first stab at it. What else? What else are you thinking of for a name?
But taco's not going to get you any better Google searched. You know, you got to
No,
get
that's
something
stupid
really.
too. Yeah.
you
What's
know.
your middle name? Do you have a middle name?
Hammer, good God. It says his middle
Hammer?
name is Hammer. Is that
Hammer.
right?
Hammer.
It's my mom's maiden name. My mom grew up in a house of women. No, she grew
See,
up with 4.
I kind of like Hammer McGregor. It sounds like Connor McGregor, just like Gnarls Barkley is cool. You know, Hammer McGregor's kind of
Hammer
awesome.
McGregor.
Hammer McGregor. What about Hammer?
I don't know what
mean,
to
you could-
expect when I go to that show, though. You know.
That's true. What about just Hammer Time? I mean, nobody will remember that.
All of these words we're using are like super cool and badass, but when you hear our songs and hear
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
maybe we'll need to re-strategize.
Well, that's
the
why-
name
let's hear it.
to
That's
partnership.
Keep
yeah. Well, you
brainstorming.
want to play something because that's what got us and fell in love with you in the first place is the music, and the
Well-
fact that you have a Swedish girlfriend was also a selling point. But the music is the main thing. Let's hear something.
Sure.
All right,
Okay.
yeah.
So
we'll
go
play it.
grab those instruments, and I can keep these guys talking in the meantime.
Okay.
Okay. Sophie, how are you enjoying it so far?
Good so far.
All right.
Yeah.
We need to as soon as we come back from this yet to be named band playing this music, currently called McGregor. We have to hear about what you're actually doing here.
Sounds good.
Other than-
If I can explain it.
I'm
It's
thinking
complicated.
it's complicated. That's how we like it.
Yeah.
Start off with some complication. Okay. So I think you're going to get a surprise when you hear this stuff.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I was really amazed how good this is. I don't want to oversell it just in case they suck. But, you know, I hope they won't.
And they're called McGregor.
I think the name of the band is McGregor. It's the two of them, and there's a really awesome female singer and a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really cool. Okay, so
How do you want to?
do you want to sit down and? Okay. And then we've got the bass covered over here. Do you sing as well, Sam? You're not singing. No. Okay. So just sit on down there, Mr. McGregor.
You might want this.
Oh, you want that? Hang on.
Well, this is about as intimate as it has ever been.
I know this is
At a small table.
It's a very unnerving way to play. I know. So tell us a little bit about what you can do.
Well, this song is it's kind of a country pop song, but it's meaningful. It's meaningful to me, and it certainly was the time when I wrote it. And it's called "Why Should We Wait?" And I joke because I think if ever I could meet Taylor Swift and try to like pitch a song to her, like I would try to pitch this one. And she could take it and like turn it into a super produced pop song that would probably sound nothing like it will when we play it right now. Can you hear this? Card came from the future, one that I know better than to read. But I hope it says we're married and live in Tennessee. My downfall slid between us, so you put it on the shelf. Now I'm trying to get it down without it falling in my face with the weight of someone else. I wanna be the guy on the corner if you show up, waiting on a love in a pickup truck. Why should we wait for it to break again? You found me asleep at the party with my eyes turned cherry red. I went and let loose with the neighbors, and your words ran through my head. Go on and act like a child and try to shoot out the sun. But don't lay around here like it's some kind of prison yard and say you got no room left to run. I wanna be the guy on the corner if you show up, waiting on a love in a pickup truck. Why should we wait for it to break again? Card came from the future, one that I'll leave at the door. But I hope it says you're happy, found the life that you were looking for. I wanna be the guy on the corner if you show up, waiting on a love in a pickup truck. Arms wide open, I hope it's enough. Got lost on the way, but I'm not giving up. Why should we wait for it to break again?
Oh, yes.
Well,
Okay, what did you think? Did I
Great.
oversell it?
Yeah, no, it was great.
Isn't that great?
Great.
Sophie, what did you
Yeah.
think? Okay, Ryan?
I loved it.
hey, thanks.
Are you gonna? Do you play shows here?
We do. Yeah. We're playing at Gasa Gasa this Saturday.
Nice.
We're playing with a band called Star and Mighty. They're from.
Oh, yeah.
they're
Oh,
from
those
Memphis.
guys are
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, have you played with
too.
them before, Andrew?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a special thing for me and Sam. I've seen Andrew's band play a number of times. Like this is really the first time meeting him, but it's a pleasure to play right in
Back
front
at
of
you,
your
man.
face.
We'll make
know.
Andrew play something for you in a minute. Star
Great.
and Micey are an awesome band from Tennessee. Are they from Memphis or somewhere?
They are from Memphis, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
they're
is
a really,
actually my hometown.
really great band. You're from Memphis too,
Yeah.
Sam?
Do you like Memphis?
Can I put this down?
Yes.
And then answer that question?
Sure thing. Well, that was cool. So there's certain people, when you just hear them play, you just kind of, they just got it.
Got
right?
got it. I think
Yeah.
also there's people you hear play and you're like, you just don't got it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
But I heard this stuff and I think,
Yeah.
man, this guy's got something
intangibles.
going
What is
on,
that?
right?
What is that like? You know,
What is it?
just like like they get something, like some purity of an element of musicality that exists. you
Well,
know?
I have my own theory, but you don't agree with me.
What is
my
your
theory?
theory?
Is that it's real.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
something
yeah.
genuine
Why do you
about-
think I don't get? Why do you think I don't
I think
agree?
you've always disagreed with me when I've
No
said that
way.
before.
In fact, there's bands. Well, all right. Here's where I do disagree with you. Some bands you say are great, and I think aren't real. So there's that. I won't, you know,
I'd love
this
to hear
isn't
an
one,
example of that.
obviously, but you know,
What's a band that you...
I'm not going to
that
do
I
that.
think is
I'm not
great
gonna-
that aren't real. I can't think of
Who
one. But
bands that you over compliment and just say they're awesome. They're great.
What
They're
are you
great.
gonna do? You know,
And then like behind you go to your friend like they fucking suck. Like,
well, you know, I don't think you can say fuck. It's all so subjective, and you gotta like. Well, you used to say they sucked when you were in high school, but then you grew up and you realize that art is subjective, and you can't do that shit. You know, you just
well,
let
then
it.
why do we agree that certain people are great?
I think it's good to
What
talk
is-
about it because it is so subjective that you want to know what's hitting other people, so you want to know what to give a second look because it is important to you. Because art, I feel like our souls are starved of art with this social media world that we're living in. So when you do find something you believe in, you want to disseminate it like you're an evangelical Christian for this shit, you know. And I feel like there's too few things that I'm evangelical about artistically, you know. So I do look for them. I scavenge, you know, the.
Yeah,
whatever-
you want to
whatever I
tell
can,
everybody
you know.
that you found this great band
Yeah,
called
yeah.
McGregor, and you got to hear this.
And to any degree, yeah,
Right.
yeah, you know.
But I
tell
think,
your
what makes you like something, Sophie? What resonates with you?
I don't know. I think it's hard to put your finger on it, but it's something that goes deeper than, I don't know.
Makes you feel feelings.
Yeah. And
It's hard to put your
supersedes like the situation that you're in as well.
do you feel
Okay.
like once like a lot of other people start catching on to what you like, then you start to sort of feel like I got to find something else?
No, not at all. Like
You're cool with liking something
to
that
be
a lot
honest,
of other
if-
people like.
I would rather, if there's something that resonates with me, I want, like you were saying, evangelical. I
Right.
want everybody else get it because if it's touching me, I think other people would enjoy it too.
I think it's funny is like the thing I see most by accident, not on purpose, on TV is America's Got Talent. You just flip through and you see this, and America does have talent, but none of that stuff will move you. I'm not going to say none of it. But a lot of that tricks. Stuff, a lot of that stuff won't move you. It's entertainment. It's not art.
It's like dance.
I want to see America's Got Soul. America's Got Heart. I want to see.
That's a good show.
Yeah, I want to see somebody who's got something to say or some feeling that they're emoting. And I think that's what we're talking about. If somebody came and they played licks that it takes a long time to master, we'd say, "Oh, you are talented." But when you see somebody, emote a feeling genuinely and nakedly in front of us, without
being paid.
Yeah, without being paid, it's a nice thing, and it's a
yeah. Okay, Ryan, do you got anything to add to this before we move on?
Let's go. No, I don't.
Okay.
Real. I don't.
I think it's real. I think it's when something is genuine, that someone is expressing something that's in themselves, of themselves, whatever it is, whether it's cage fighting or singing or...
I do agree, though. Real is too objective for the subjective thing we're talking about. What do you say? What is it? It makes you feel things. So what is that? It's expressive. It's
a genuine...
You
between,
felt something.
There's nothing between the person and the receipt of what they're giving you. So there's no artifice, like you're saying, like a super guitar player.
What the funny thing about that is, I feel like you can see it in modern art, that there's a faith that a modern artist puts into their medium, that they know that there is something in between whatever they were feeling and what you're going to feel. It's just the faith that you will feel something. You don't have to feel the same thing. You don't have to get it.
I agree with that. You don't have to feel the same thing the creator was thinking of when he or she created it, but it makes you feel something. Like, I don't know what that song was about even, really. I mean, Sweden, maybe, I suppose.
Yeah, what is that? Like, but you can listen to somebody play and think, they're not playing for me, they're playing for them,
Yeah, like Derek Trucks.
Derek Trucks melts my face, dude. Don't you say that about Derek Trucks, brother. That man will melt my face right off.
I have one thing to say about Derek Trucks, and he lacks the underdog quality that I root for in musicians, where everything he turns out is like, it's soulful, but it's like factory soulful, every freaking, every solo. I mean, he's godlike, and I love him. But I prefer somebody who starts a solo, and you're like, okay, yeah. And then he kind of falters a little bit, or she falters a little bit, and then they pick it up, and they beat your expectations, and you're like, yeah, it's awesome.
Because in America, we love the underdog.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
You don't want some successful little punk kid to be an awesome guitar player. You want him to be sort of not that great, but surprise you.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, that says more about you. That
I
says
guess
more about you, I think.
it's like there's seeing a sense of vulnerability in the person, and that's
solos are such a microcosm of this
the
whole
music,
thing we're talking about. It's
I'm such a jazz nerd.
Tiny moment that this person is like, oh, here's my thing, and then even the selfless person is going to tighten up and try to really bring it. When really all anybody wants to hear, like you said, is just them give you something musical, anything. Just be easy, go naturally. What does that sound
I'd rather
like,
listen to B.B. King bend one note.
That's it.
Than listen to Steve Vai
Economy.
play 67
Stevie Ray Vaughan even. The guy had soul, but I don't need all those notes.
Well, what's the explanation for that? Why would you rather hear B.B. King play one note? What is that all about? Because
I think for me it's just because I do play guitar and I can relate to what it feels like to bend a string, but when you hear someone else do it and you hear the little subtleties,
he's putting something into that.
He is.
Of himself somehow.
Yeah.
That he's got some talent or some ability to make you feel whatever he's doing by pushing a guitar string up the neck of a guitar, whereas I could do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Somehow
you believe he means it.
It just doesn't come out the same.
And maybe it's coupled with knowing what he looks like, knowing what his stage banter is, knowing what his history is, and
I
just
think
how
you can hear the sureness in somebody's.
I think so too. I don't think you need to know all that, but maybe you don't know what you bring to it that you don't
subconsciously
think.
What are you actually influenced by?
Who's going to play some nondescript background music for me right now?
I mean, I can, but.
Do you want to play some nondescript background for me?
I'd like to.
Jake?
I'd prefer Andrew.
Yeah, but this is just while I read these
only if it's really nondescript. Yeah.
It has to be really nondescript. Okay, Sophie. Andrew's got it right here. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you who brought the show to us today, and then we're going to talk about exactly what Sophie Lafayette does, which is hard to understand, complicated. So thank you very much to these people who made today's show possible, or are making it possible as we speak. Actually, Uber. If you find yourself a few drinks in and you need a ride home, Uber is the smartphone app that connects you with a ride at the tap of a button. Do you have the Uber app, everybody here at the table?
That's how I got here.
That's how you got here. Okay. Well, it's no good to you. This is only for people who don't have the Uber app yet. So if you know anybody in the world, tell them this. That if you download the Uber app on your phone, go to either the iPhone App Store or the Google Play Store on Android, and download the app and write Happy Hour NOLA in the promotions section of the app, you'll get a free ride up to $20, courtesy of Uber and us here at Happy Hour. Thanks to the Basic Swim and Gym. That's a place where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits. Pay attention, boys, because this is something you need if you're going back to Sweden. Workout and yoga clothes. Yes. With style, you can get bikinis, one-pieces, cover-ups. Sophie, you've got a cover-up with you?
No.
You might need to go down to Basic Swim and Gym and get yourself a cover-up. Everything you need for beach and poolside is at Basic Swim and Gym. It's right across the street from the lingerie store, Basics Underneath on Magazine Street, right near Jefferson Avenue, and just a little bit further down Magazine Street on the other side of Jefferson Avenue. You can go to May's Guitar and Sisters in Christ Record Shop. Have you guys been there?
Yeah, where is that? Sisters in Christ?
Sisters in Christ and May's Guitar. It's right down Magazine Street, just on the downtown side of Jefferson Avenue.
Huh.
Across from T. Eva's Praline Shop.
Cool.
And that's where you'll find thousands of records and books and a huge array of vintage guitars, vacuum tube amplifiers, and effects pedals from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Whether you've never picked up a guitar in your life or you've been playing forever, you're going to find a gem at May's Guitar on Magazine Street. And it's run by our friend James Hayes, you know, from the Lovey Doveys. Have you ever heard them?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great band as well. So check that out. It's on the downtown side of Jefferson Avenue on Magazine Street. And thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent and cure a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website. It's hdestroyer.com. You write Happy Hour in the coupon code there and you'll get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer so that you too can seize the dawn. Nondescript background music by Andrew Duhon and his slide guitar. Thanks. A little overqualified for this, but... Nice, Andrew, thank you. Reminded me of Derek Trucks for some reason when I heard that. I'm not sure what brought that to mind.
Man, that guy's a legend.
Okay, so Sophie, it says here in front of me here that you are working here in New Orleans and you're not just larking around and having fun checking out the food and music and getting free drinks at Wayfare.
Yeah.
It says
last
here
2 weeks I've been working.
You work remotely for the international, well, I'm going to say this, is it data or data?
I say data.
Data. The Open Data Charter, which is, in case you guys are wondering what that is, it's a multi-stakeholder network that works with governments to make their data open and accessible for anyone to use, reuse, and redistribute.
That's right.
What does that mean?
Is that like WikiLeaks?
A little bit like WikiLeaks, but more proactive. So the idea is that any data that a government has, it should be already open to the people and everybody to access. So you should be able to go to like a portal and get everything about the government's activities that doesn't violate privacy. So you should be able to see what investments they're making, procurement, statistics about health, education, schools, all that kind of stuff.
When you say should be able to?
You should be able to. And that's what we're trying to do. No, the problem is now that data is it is available sometimes, but you have to do a freedom of information. It's not that it's not, it's that it's hidden, but it's just all over the place. So the idea is bringing it all together.
Does that strike you as strange that a government doesn't want people to know what it's doing?
It doesn't surprise me, but the government should be accountable to the people if the people are the ones paying taxes. So.
Well,
I agree.
Well,
I don't think anybody would probably disagree with that to some extent, but what's the problem?
Well, the idea is also people with data, there's different ways of formatting it, and different people are just not talking to one another, even within the same government. It's not necessarily to highlight where there's a problem, but it's just to make everyone's life easier as well.
What sort of information are we talking about? What would we want to know that our government is up to? Procuring what, for example?
Whether it's kind of say a company's register, who owns what company. So all the stuff that was released on Panama Papers, for instance, the idea is that you shouldn't get that information through a leak. It should already be publicly available.
What was that information? That was about what exactly?
Basically, like who was investing in companies, tax avoidance, that sort of thing. So, like in the UK, you have a.
Well, I'm surprised that's not public knowledge, tax avoidance. You think everybody would want to?
Well, they would, but the whole point is that they hide that information.
Well, of course they hide that information. Why would you tell someone that you're avoiding paying taxes? Do you tell people that?
No, if I was avoiding taxes, I probably wouldn't.
Everybody avoids paying taxes as far as they can get away with
but
it.
But it's not so much focused on the people, it's focused on what the government's doing. So it's like it's just about kind of accountability.
Collecting taxes.
Yeah.
So that's not of any great interest because the government's just trying to get taxes out of people. But what are you talking about? You're talking about like the government's procuring, like it's making a deal with Halliburton or something. If that's still existing.
Or like, you know, if a government has like a tender out, if they're going for the same company repeatedly, or they haven't got a process there, you know, even if it's all above board, people should be able to kind of look and find out that information and see what's going on. That's kind of the idea.
So that's what you do for a living?
Well, I support that project. So I do mostly communications and sort of a little bit of project management of that. So the project I'm on is like this international, it's a combination of governments and non-profits that are sort of working towards this goal.
What do you do, say, when you leave here and you've got another couple of hours work to do before you go out? What do you actually do?
It's a lot of emails, press, blog posts, social media, liaising with different organizations.
Are you putting pressure on governments?
Yeah, I mean, different stakeholders in the organization or different members are liaising with different governments to kind of get them. So we have this open data charter, and the charter is like a set of principles that a government follows. So when you do get this data, it's all in line and it's all kind of comparable. So there's different people going to different governments and trying to get them to adopt the charter and then work towards doing this.
So you're like an international activist?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
that's a good title. I think.
Okay,
I'll go with that
so is somebody going to shoot you or something?
No, I hope not.
Well, I mean, are you like one of these enemies of the state?
Not to my knowledge, no.
What governments are we talking about? The United States, for example?
Yeah, the United States is moving towards it. They haven't adopted the charter yet, but they're pretty supportive.
Has any country adopted this charter yet?
Yeah, there's 12 governments and 13 subnational governments, so city governments.
So what countries have gone for it?
The UK, a lot in Latin America, so Mexico, Argentina, the UK. Yeah, there's quite a few, and it's so they only launched we only started last September. So since then, it's kind of been.
You've got 12 countries to agree with this charter since last September, and it's only what is the date now? August. So it's almost
July.
A year, say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty impressive. One a month.
Yeah. Well, we're aiming to have around 30 by the end of the year. So.
And who's paying you exactly?
Well, because it's made up of a number of different governments and organizations, the funding comes from sort of those partner organizations.
How does someone get a gig like this? How'd you get that job?
You see an advert online and you
That's
apply
how you got the
for
job.
it?
You applied for it.
But I've been working when I was in Tanzania. I was working in open data as well, so I have like a background in this kind of international activism, I guess. So.
Wow,
Qualified.
that's a pretty cool gig, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what are you? So are you living here now in New Orleans?
No, well, I'm here for 2 months, so I'm a temporary resident, I guess.
And have you left Tanzania, or are you going back to Tanzania?
No, I left Tanzania in March. Since then, I've been kind of all over the place. I hope I'll go back there at some point, but I mean, for the next, at least until the end of the year, I'll be moving around, doing all kinds of things.
And but working on this.
Yeah, we're working on this, but there's like a lot of conferences in Europe in September and October, so I'll be going to those and traveling around.
I think my favorite part about your job is that you get to say the word liaise, which it's rare that you hear that. I'm a liaison. I liaise.
There's a lot of words in my job that a normal person wouldn't normally use. There's a lot of
I can't even imagine what you do, frankly. I mean, you sit there at a computer.
She just spent like 5 minutes.
Are you calling up people in
No, it's like
United States government saying, "Listen here, you got to adopt this fucking charter
someone
by Wednesday.
My colleagues
Otherwise,
kind
I'm
of do
gonna
that, I
look like-"
guess. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
you
don't
do
do
it
that.
a bit more diplomatically than that.
Well, okay.
Friggin'.
So who do you want to win? Trump, right? Because he'd be more open.
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
Do you take a position?
No comment on that.
Do you take a position in your company? What's your company called, or what's the place? Is it called?
It's called the Open Data Charter.
Open Data Charter is the name of the actual. I guess company's not the right thing.
No,
Is this an NGO?
It's a it's a multi-stakeholder initiative.
Multi-stakeholder.
Yeah, initiative.
So that's kind of where your family comes from as well, right? Multi-stakeholder.
We held lots of steaks.
Yeah.
And
It's a different.
I think we need more of those. That might get people to adopt.
What are the chances of having two multi-stakeholders on the same show?
a rarity.
Wow. And rare. That's another, yeah.
Medium rare, yeah.
No pun intended. Okay, well, that's a pretty interesting gig. So if you had no idea that's
Yeah,
what
it's
you were
pretty
doing.
great. I like it.
Funny that you're sort of interested in international open data and you love New Orleans. That's probably the only person in the world.
It's quite unique, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your office?
There
You're
is
looking at
no
it.
office. That's why I can be here.
Is that you work
Yeah.
work remotely?
Yeah. So everyone that I work with in the project is based in different places, but I'm like the main person that's traveling around.
Do you Skype in? Do meetings via
There's
Skype?
A lot of Skype, a lot of Slack, a lot of
Slack? Yeah, we're
Yeah.
using Slack in our office
Yeah.
now too.
What's Slack like?
It's an app, and if you have a company, everybody will have the app, and then everyone just communicates through Slack, and you can send documents back and forth. You can link it to Dropbox, Excel, Gmail, calendars, and it eliminates having to you don't text people, send an email to somebody. You just do it all through Slack.
There's one thing. There's one tool, one program.
Yeah, NASA uses it for their communication amongst all
Can
their
you talk?
employees.
Can you
It's
talk
legit.
to astronauts? If you're on Slack,
I think they limit you.
you have to just talk to people you already know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not-
Unless you're invited.
Yeah.
In
If
which
you're in
case,
the channel.
yeah, there are probably different tiers that you
Who
can work
owns
your
it?
way up.
Do you know anything about who owns it?
It's out of Silicon Valley for sure.
So it's new. You ever heard of that, Ryan?
I have heard of it. I've never.
Yeah, I've only
Done it,
heard of
done
it too,
it.
but you ever heard of it, Andrew? I've only heard of it, never
haven't,
used
no.
it.
I think it's mostly like tech companies have been using it, and then kind of more and more. The idea is that it just replaces email completely. You just have this one place.
Well, that's a great idea because no one reads email anymore.
Exactly.
That has really come to
Yeah.
a desperate situation with the email. I don't even know why people send it now.
No. Hit me up on Slack, bro.
Yeah, Slack,
Yeah,
Slack me.
You're slacking.
Slack it is. Andrew, what are you going to play us?
I'm going to play a new song if you want.
Yeah, we do.
Andrew, before you start, what year is that Epiphone?
Not as old as you would think.
It's
It's one of these from the Master Built series, which man, it's like best bang for your buck if anybody's looking for a guitar
Really?
under $500. I bought this one from actually the Guitar Center in Metairie because I would go there and buy new strings.
GC.
And I just picked this guitar because it was the best sounding guitar in there. And I didn't really want to pay $500 for a guitar in an Epiphone, in Guitar Center, regardless of how well I thought it sounded. Good, I thought it sounded. But then I got there one day and there was this crack in it. And I thought, so I asked one of the guys, what's going on there? And he said, oh, some kid dropped it, so I guess we'll sell it at cost. So what's it cost? $250. So I bought this guitar for $250, and I haven't played any guitar that I own more than this guitar, and I've paid,
Did the crack
10
in it
times
affect
more.
the tone of it at all?
You would
tell?
think so. I don't know. I mean, I electrify it. I don't record it
Do you use
much.
the De-Armand or do you use the
De-Armand I
Fishman?
use for slide. The Fishman is going out for a K&K very soon, which is like
cool.
Under saddle.
What are you guys
sorry, we're
speaking
talking. Yeah,
Russian?
we're talking
Yeah,
geek
this is
now.
a
We
little
talk-
All right,
geeky.
Let's move right on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. What's this called?
This one's called "Been Gone." I think it's a traveling song, I guess. Straight shot running, I took the beeline through the tree line to the coast. Dead man built this railroad, dead man built these holy ghosts. Was it all a dream? all the miles between you and me. Been gone for so long, gone from where I came. Been gone for so long, friends forgotten my name. Friends forgot my name. Little by little, so we hardly know each other. Right down the middle, highway tolls, with my newfound brothers, fight over lady love. What a dream it was, the miles between you and me. Been gone for so long, gone from where I came. Been gone for so long, friends forgotten my name. Been gone for so long. Up along the way, when I'm old and gray, I can close my eyes and I can see my face. Was it all a dream? All the miles between you and me. Been gone for so long, gone from where I came. Been gone for so long, friends forgotten my name.
Wow.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, Andrew. Well, you did it again. What do you think of that, you guys?
Really beautiful. I love the bridge.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
That's so pretty.
Ascending's weird and not folky, but thanks a lot.
That's cool. No, I love that. She does, yeah.
Is it hard to like hit that high note? Like when you're doubling the one of the notes on your guitar.
Yeah, you know, that
It's like,
chorus
it's right
thing.
on.
That
It
chorus is
sounds
the
so
most
good.
troubling part. But yeah, I feel like I should double that.
Yeah, there's
melodic
no way
bit.
around. You
Yeah,
have
you got
to
to
do
do
that.
it. But it's but what I'm learning is I've been playing with this trio who's two incredibly consummate musicians. I'm just a songwriter who knows some cowboy chords, but they're pushing me to become more of a musician. But what I'm learning is, as I'm being informed musically, I'm finding music that I'm falling in love with, but then trying to write words and melodies to it. But that puts you, that regiments and like puts the lyric and the melody into a space that's tighter than I've ever had to, try to work it in. So then you end up with this, and you want to put syllables in every one of those things, but you want to say something that means something. It's like, God damn, it's tough work.
Does it mean that you're improving? That you're doing something much
Only if I
more-
write something that's effective. I mean, I
Well,
think
that was very enchanting, I must say that.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
mean,
it?
yeah,
That was great.
It was the trance-like almost.
yeah. I think I think that's because the music is effective, but I think
Right.
the song has to be effective. So, it's about.
You know who does that
continuing-
really well?
Who's that?
Donald Fagen from Steely Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy long melodies,
Yeah.
weird harmonic stuff.
Yeah, but says
long,
something. Yeah.
lots of syllables in the lines, but always
Yeah.
saying something.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
right,
it.
Ryan, you write stuff as well, right?
I don't sing though.
No.
Would you sing it to
My
us
book.
today?
What are you writing currently?
I just came out with a book 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, about about barbecue. I wrote a book about barbecue that does not contain one recipe in it, and it is a series. It's a first-person narrative. It's a series of profiles, though, also about these men around the South, and one in New York City who cook kind of the most real, the most authentic of barbecue art forms, and that's whole hog barbecue. And which went on the road to do the research for the book many years ago. It was kind of this dying thing, and it's since become very it's popular. It's hip now. There's a couple places in New Orleans that do it. But it's about sitting there. So it's this thing that takes 24 hours to cook.
These guys that sleep next to the barbecue.
And I mean, if they're lucky, they get to sleep. But they usually just smoke cigarettes and stare into the fire while they watch a hog or many hogs, maybe 20, 30 hogs cook at a time. And these are 200-pound animals that they're doing.
It's bad form to flick the butt into the coals, yeah?
Yeah, but they do it anyway.
They do it anyway. I love that.
Some places will dump, shouldn't say this, but they'll dump like their trash into the fire and then use that fire to shovel under the hogs.
Whatever's real.
Do they slaughter, kill all the hogs too? Is that part of it? Clean them?
No, but they have to deal with slaughterhouses now in America. I mean, originally, going back 50, 60 years or more, a lot of these places would have killed their own hogs, raised their own hogs. But it's just not possible anymore.
Do you think it's a good or a bad thing for the book that this was a dying thing and now it's not?
I think it's a good thing. It helped sell it because I get to go to places like Nashville and Brooklyn and try to sell the book that didn't have this culture before. It was really isolated in the Eastern Carolinas and in one or two very small towns in Western Tennessee.
But is this the gentrification of barbecue? Or?
Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, and
you can't gentrify barbecue.
Well, you can. I mean, it is. Yeah, and that's kind of the end of the book is asking that question. What does it mean when things are gentrified? Or let's talk to the person that is being blamed for being the gentrifier. And so I talked to the guy who owns this place in Bushwick, right? So one of the most kind of hipstery, gentrified neighborhoods in our country right now, which is in Brooklyn. Right. And he has a restaurant called Arrogant Swine. His name is Tyson Ho. And I asked him that question, are you a gentrifier? He left a tech job on Wall Street to do what he did, and which is cook whole hogs all week long. He's a first-generation Chinese American. He grew up in Queens, and he told me that he's never felt more American than when he cooks barbecue, and that he takes great pride in being challenged by Southerners and all types of people who live in New York and say this is not your type of food, and kind of point fingers and say, you shouldn't be doing this. You're not from the Carolinas. This is not your thing to do. Yeah. Why are you doing this? In New York City of all places, anyway. And he was born in America. He likes to say that he celebrates Western holidays and not Chinese New Year's, Chinese holidays, and that this thing has really kind of made him rethink his identity that he's, always had and had no say in. Yeah. And reinforce that American identity, which I think is really interesting and really, adds another facet to what, the gentrification argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, I don't care about his credentials. I want to taste the pig.
It's good food. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of the end game of the whole thing is like it tastes really good. And it seems to be popular among people who grew up with this food from the Carolinas who live in
So
New
there's
York.
some sort of levels of authenticity in barbecue. If it's not real barbecue,
and this became
it's not supposed to be any good.
Yeah, and this form of barbecue became the realist to me. I mean, the book is called The One True Barbecue. It should maybe be called My One True Barbecue because I fell in love with it, and it became the most authentic thing to me as a complete outsider, as someone who doesn't even adore barbecue. I mean,
that was my next question. Are you sick to death of eating barbecue now, or you love it?
No, I'm sick to death, and I'm not. There's been a host of new restaurants in town that have opened up that serve barbecue, and I have not been to any of them.
Can't face it. I feel the same about fruit.
For all fruit?
I just can't face it. I'm so sick of eating fruit.
Just too many fruits?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sick of eating fruit.
Desert Island.
Fruit's really good.
Grant's not having it.
Barbecue's good too, but after
I
a
had
while.
the great blueberries.
So you just can't take it. You can't look at barbecue. Can you even look at a plate of it?
But when there's been several places that do what the book is about since the book has gone to press, and I'm really interested in those because I'm invested in those places, and it's an obsession, and I think obsessions can die off. And
you mean your obsession, or it's the country's obsession now? The food.
Well, I mean, barbecue is barbecue and food is an obsession with the country. But I became very obsessed with this this barbecue vernacular.
Right.
That is very rare.
But you have to write a book, though. If you're going to write a book,
yeah.
you have to immerse yourself in it, and then when it's over, it's over.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
For a friend of yours who vindictively wants to do a prank to you, he needs to take your entire hanging closet and hang it in like an applewood smoker. And then
I think your clothes must smell like that.
Put it back in your closet, and considering that you're sick of
you
barbecue,
like
that'll ruin you for a good year.
We played a recent gig in a barbecue restaurant in my upright. I played the upright bass, and then I took it out of the case the next day, and it smelled.
Yeah.
Where was that?
If you play Dos Efes, don't leave your cases in there, man.
Yeah, cigar. We were at a Black Label Ice House. We played.
And the air conditioning was broken, I think.
And the
Or
AC
maybe
was
it wasn't.
broken. And
Something was going on.
Waking up with the hangover is bad. Waking up with dehydrated is bad. But add smelling barbecue on every single thing that you brought the night before. It's really bad.
That's real.
Hey, guys, we've got to get out of here and make room for paying customers.
Let's get out of here.
at
It's still
Wayfare,
happy hour. Let's go get some.
Let's have another couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So thank you so much for joining us, Rien Fertel. And the name of the book is
The One True Barbecue.
The One True Barbecue.
I like
That's
that better
worth
than
checking
My
out.
One True Barbecue, by the way. I like it.
Yeah.
It's,
The One
it's
True
a seller. It's a seller. I like
It's
it.
more religious sounding.
Yeah, it's more.
Sophie Lafayette, it's
Trump.
been great to look across the table at you
Finally.
and to get to talk to you and find out what you do. Not that I can follow it really, but it's very
It's a start.
interesting. Yeah. I look forward to reading about you, and maybe you get to meet Julian Assange or something
Maybe one day.
out of all this. And guys from McGregor, Sam Ferguson, and Jake McGregor. And if you have an idea for the name for this band, drop us a line.
Will do. Thank you
Okay.
for having us.
Okay. Great to meet you. Thanks to you all for being here. Graham DePonte and Alison Moon produced our show today. Christian Unruh is our music director. And Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can check out many other hours of Happy Hour, as well as some other shows we make here. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, which is live from Commander's Palace. True to the Game with Chris True. Midnight Menu with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canada, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker. Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu, with a podcast about death, which is called Death the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant, and our other psychological show, Questions from the Waiting Room with psychiatrist Nick Pajic. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and on Twitter and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. Those photos are taken by our photographer, Alison Moon. If you listen to this show on a podcast app that you prefer, thanks for subscribing to us. Take a moment to rate and review us. That does actually help other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at the fabulous Wayfare on Freret Street in Uptown New Orleans, where they have a 3-hour happy hour here every day and brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Happy Hour is a production of I.Know Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon, everyone else around the table here at Wayfare and back at our office at I.Know Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Hear that? That's the sweet sound of Minute Maid slushies at McDonald's, turning up your summer with every sip, slurp, and ah.
Get a small sweet peach, blue raspberry, or fruit punch slushie for just $2. Or get any size soft drink for $1. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only. Cannot be combined with combo meal.